Okay, so what I'm trying to say is our real self. We're gonna talk about what the real self is, but the real self, it doesn't have any problems. It doesn't have imbalances. It doesn't have a nervous system to even have an imbalance. It doesn't have a mind. It's pure. That's our real self. Our human self, emotions, mind, body, elements, imbalances, mental health, etc. That self is existing, you can say, in this pure self. You want me to prove it? Anytime you have a symptom, anytime you're doing anything, I'm talking right now, for example, I'm aware that there's talking happening. Like something's like, I'm hearing myself talk. Okay? So when we have symptoms, something's aware of those symptoms. And then we're also aware of the thoughts that say, these symptoms suck, I want to get rid of them. How do I get rid of them? You're aware of those thoughts too, aren't you? You're not like, you're not a robot. A robot wouldn't be aware of that. This is the difference between a robot and a human being. We have self-consciousness, self-awareness. So the point, what I'm finding now with this channel, I have energy to make videos for this channel if I talk about this stuff. I got to bring it to the spiritual level. We're used to giving our attention, because of habit, we give our attention to our symptoms and our tendencies and the self-talk that we have about the symptoms. And if we don't have any symptoms, we're like, oh, this is great. That's also self-talk. Oh, if I have symptoms, this sucks. That's also self-talk. There's that self, those thoughts are happening, you can say, inside of a field of awareness or consciousness, because you're aware when you have those thoughts. Just pay attention. We're used to giving our attention to this human self more than we are to this invisible awareness self, because this pure self, it's very subtle. It doesn't have any quality. It's just, what are you going to say about it? So through habit, and because of society and just conditioning, and everybody's doing it, everyone's identified with this human self. So it's a lot that perpetuates our own delusion in paying attention to this human self. But see, when you have mental health imbalances, they're very deep. It's not just in the physical body. If you have some physical body problem, you could probably do a fast or a long juice fast, or just change your diet, and just through healthy lifestyle principles that I share about, that would probably be sufficient enough to take care of whatever ailment you have, if it's just located in your physical body. Now, if you have imbalances in your emotional body or your mental body, these are deeper. Like science and doctors have no idea. Like, how can you operate on your mental body? Like, there's no body. Like, they can't see it. The only thing higher than the mental body is this consciousness or this awareness that I'm talking about. So it's like people who struggle with mental health imbalances, we got no choice. That's grace. That's a gift on a certain level, because the motivation to discover who we truly are, which is the main purpose that a human being has on the planet, whether they realize it or not, that motivation to discover that in people who have really intense health karma is going to be much greater than somebody who's rich and has a nice car and no health problems and relationship. Like, why are they going to be motivated to discover themselves? Everything's just easy, this life. Mooji says we only live once, but it's forever. I don't want to get too much into that. That would be more on my spiritual channel, but point is, there's a lot of flies. If we don't, this is the highest healing medicinal antidote. Antidote means cure-all. I'm not saying that. We can still have these symptoms but not suffer them, but they'll definitely reduce. Discovering my spiritual nature is the best thing, the most medicinal thing that I can do if I have a mental health or neurological imbalance. Because this the spiritual nature, our true self, is the only thing higher than the body in which this mental imbalance is taking place in. I mean, you see, you understand, like, they said somewhere, you can't solve a problem in the mind on the level of the mind. How can you? You got to be at a higher vantage point to solve something. Can't be on the same level. There's no perspective. Like, you can't, how are you going to see it? You need a broader picture. Our spiritual nature, our true self, it's higher than the mind, because the mind is taking place in it. You can prove it right now. You're aware that you exist. When you speak, you're aware. When you're listening to this video, it's like you feel this human self's listening, but something's aware that you're listening. Like, you're aware that you're listening, right? What's that awareness? That needs to be investigated more. Now, when you clean your diet up, and when you try to get rid of other addictions and attachments we have, and you spend time in nature, and you hang around with good people, and all the stuff I keep saying, that makes it easier to put your attention on this pure self. Okay? So the two go together. But we have to be willing to start doing that. Some people, it's like they have no energy. They're just too dull. They want the quick fix. They keep waiting for the medical world to solve their problems and to get a cure. They're never going to get a cure for anything, really. Nature's the best cure for everything. Nature created these bodies, so it must know how to fix them, or at least get you to a semblance of balance to where you can exist and function. Now, if you have, I always got to put the disclaimer, there's some people, the symptoms are so bad, you got to do something. You got to take a pill, or you got to take an operation, or get deep brain surgery. You need something. God put that there also. But you can still, even if you do that, you can still apply the principles that I'm sharing in this video and on this channel. The more attention we put on our true self, formless self, it's like then we get intuitive downloads on how to navigate this body that has certain imbalances. And they won't be from a book. They'll be our own higher motherboard is giving us this data on how to be with certain symptoms that used to appear just unbearable. We'll get some wisdom through the form of intuition. We'll attract somebody, maybe you'll attract this video, because we'll be ready for that. That's the best doctor, that's the highest doctor. They say somewhere, thy physician, heal thyself. We're talking about your own inner physician and doctor. It knows everything. It knows a million times more about how this body functions and works than any other seemingly separate human being, even if they got a doctor label. How do they know you? How can you prescribe something to somebody if you haven't yet done it yourself? Even if you've done it yourself, you don't know how it's going to affect the individual you're giving it to, because we're all individuals. That's why this intuition has to wake up, and then it tells us what to do. It tells us, do we need to take a pill? Or if we're already taking one, do we need to cut back? Do we need to take more? When do we take more? When do we take less? It tells everything like that. Now, we might have, God will send a guide or somebody who's already, been doing this, who can maybe check our intuition sometimes and, help facilitate this journey, so we're not just totally alone. It's hard to find those people, though. You Google, mental health disorders or Tourette's or bipolar or anything, it's pretty much like 95% or more are just doctors and scientists or people that don't even have it talking about it. And then the people that do have it are talking about it. They're usually talking, their talk is still based in the medical paradigm. Where are the people that have found some degree of remedy, some measure of balance through actual holistic means and principles? There's not many. They're out there, but there's not many. because this information isn't widespread. I spent my whole life doing this, so of course I'm going to know something. You spend your whole life doing something, you're going to be an adept in that field. It's just how you're not, because that's all I did. I just searched from country to country. I had leads trying to try the new, natural herb or natural medicine or certain treatment or some kind of holistic modality because I was trying to beat this thing. So that has its relevance. Our lifestyle protocol, our diet, that has its relevance, but that's not the main answer. That's what I discovered. Main answer, knowing our true nature, keeping our attention there, letting that be the most important thing in our life. We got to taste it first so we know what it is, and then we have to have the motivation to want to keep doing that. Most people won't have that. It's just they can't. They just won't. But some do and will. The whole holistic lifestyle thing supports that. But you see, it supports it. It's a supporter. It's not the main thing. People think the answer is going to be found on an external level. Not when you have really deep-seated neurological disorders. It's not going to be found. It's deeper than the physical level, these neurological disorders. You got to go beyond you got to become aware of something that's deeper than the neurological system. Deeper than the mental body. What's that? Your pure self. Let me know how this video, these are the videos I'm going to make pretty much from now on. I'll still make some practical videos, but I have energy when I talk like this. So let me know if this resonates with you. Then that gives me energy back. So then I have energy to make them again. You see how it works? See you.